In ParaView, you can also do scripting inside a programmable filter. A programmable filter lets you create new Vtk objects. Why is this useful? Well, let's say we have a three-dimensional visualization like this cube at the top. And let's say we load this file into this dataset into ParaView. We can visualize the cube, but then what if we want to calculate the projection and plot this projection as a separate object inside of ParaView? So you already know that you can use the calculator filter to create new variables. The problem is that with the calculator filter, these new variables will be created on the same discretization as the existing variables. So when you load a cube data set, all your variables are defined on a three-dimensional Cartesian mesh. And when you create new variables, all these new variables will be created on the same three-dimensional Cartesian mesh. So the calculator filter does not modify the geometry. To create new geometry, you need to use a programmable filter. So here's an example. Let's say we load the data set from the previous slide from stvol.nc, and then we want to create a projection. You will need to go to Filters, Alphabetical, and then bring up the Programmable filter. And then in the properties of the filter, you will need to set the output type to Vtk Unstructured Grid, because we're creating in this case a Vtk Unstructured Grid. And then in the properties of the filter, you need to paste this code into the form, and then it will hit Apply, and this will create a new Vtk object. So let me show you a demo. Here I'm starting from scratch. I'm going to open the file inside of data, stvol.nc, so it's an netcdf dataset, stvol.nc. We read it as netcdf. I choose netcdf reader. Apply. So here's my dataset. Let me call it by, so the outer surface by the value of the function stored on this three-dimensional Cartesian mesh. So the mesh itself, as you can see, is 100 by 100 by 100, right here in the Information tab. So now let me apply to this dataset the filter. I'll go to Filters, Alphabetical, and then I search for Programmable filter. So right here, Programmable filter. And then the properties of the filter, output type, I need to choose Vtk Unstructured Grid. And then I'm going to paste the code from the slide. You can also find this code inside the file projectionFilter.py inside the codes subdirectory. So here I'm pasting this code. And then output data type is Vtk Unstructured Grid. I hit Apply. And here we go. So it created this two-dimensional surface. And let me display the original data set. So here we go. Here we have both the original data set and then the projection, which was calculated for each pixel in the projection. I draw a ray perpendicular to the projection, and then I simply sum up all the values along that column. So it's similar to column density. And as you can see, you have now two objects, the original three-dimensional data set and then the two-dimensional output of the programmable filter.